What's going on, guys? Today we are in a Thor magnitude, which is a Super C. Super C is kind of like your mix between a Class A and a Class C motorhome. It's a very large Class C motorhome. This one in particular has 2 extra bunks, nice bedroom in the back, good sized bathroom, and of course a good sized living area for a Class C, including the upper bunk. But that's not what we're here for. Today we are here to talk about Firefly system. So these systems, they're pretty solid. They can have their issues here and there. Today I'm going to explain some common issues that you may have with switches, as far as these switches having bad batteries or losing connection. I'm going to walk you through that. Before we do that, here's just a brief description on how this system works. So you have your central screen, which is going to kind of control everything in the coach, and then you have these. If you didn't know, these are actually just wireless switches that have a battery, and occasionally that battery will die. So how does this turn on lights and water pumps and vents and things like that? Well, that is done by your board down here. So this board down here is what all those switches and boards communicate with via CAN bus on these orange cables you see here. Same thing with getting information from things like your inverter and solar charge controllers. All of that goes through Bluetooth controllers and things like that. Outside of that, your entire coach, every one of these wires goes to a light or a water pump or some kind of system, and that wireless switch or wireless control center, or wired control center, I'm sorry, will actually tell this board to turn said device on. It's essentially a big relay switching center controlled by other controllers and Bluetooth devices. Though it seems complicated, it's not as complicated as it looks. Now, when dealing with a nest of wires like this, it can be a little bit of a pain, but in theory, the system itself is not that complicated. Now, with some issues on this system, you'll simply get a fault code. You'll have a little blinking triangle, and it will kind of lead you to your settings and then switch panel info and where you may be having trouble. You can even go to Diagnostics, and it can show you your outputs, what's on, what's working properly, inputs. You know, like for instance, we have a gen fault signal, super common on these. You can see what other signals are working. This whole screen here helps you diagnose quite a bit of what's working and what's not working. For instance, if you knew you had your bath ceiling lights on, okay, we see the green light there, but they're not on, we know there might be an issue with the light itself because the system technically is trying to turn on. Either way, the main reason you're going to end up in this screen is going to be switch faults. And you're going to get switch faults when one of these wireless switches, which you'll find all over the place. You know, we have one here in the galley. There's going to be one in the bedroom somewhere here. You're going to have one in the bathroom as well. So the switches are everywhere. And again, they all just pull off the wall. They're wireless. And they have a battery, which occasionally needs to be changed. And this may need to be repaired at some times. Especially when the battery gets changed, you're going to have to repair this controller with its mother device, if you will, for layman's terms, so that it will work properly. So now I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, sometimes these switches can just lose their pair. Most of the time it has to do with a low battery though. Either way, if you're changing the battery or if you're getting switch faults and it's saying it's not connected, you're going to go to your settings, you're going to go to switch panel info, and then you're going to see each individual one. This one here is from the kitchen. It's numbered. It's showing me it has good signal, good battery, all that jazz. But just for training purposes, we're gonna clear this one and erase it pretty much, which you have to do it for 3 seconds. So now it shouldn't be, but it's showing that it's still paired. After a while, it's gonna realize that this switch isn't paired. So in order to fix this issue, say we know what switch is in question, again, we're gonna go to settings, switch panel info, go to the kitchen one, start pairing, and now it's going to tell me to press 2 buttons simultaneously, which I can't do while holding a camera. And it's going to show success, that it found it and it's connected. And now we will see that all of these are working as they should. Water pump turns on and off. We can turn this light off, turn the hall light off. Everything works on here. They usually, all the buttons work or none of them work. That's typically how it goes. And this situation or sequence is going to solve most of your switch issues. Now, you may actually have an issue with the system. Diagnostic gets a little further beyond that. You know, if we know the switches are working and something still isn't connecting or turning on, then we're going to be down here testing the switches and getting a diagram of what all these outputs are and figuring out if power is going out, and if it is, of course, we have a break in the wire somewhere, and all of this leading up to the device. And that's not always fun. So I hope for your sake it's something simple as low battery, switch lost its pair, and maybe just repairing the switch works for you. If not, you are going to need some further diagnostics. But I hope this helped you guys. I hope that made that process and the system itself seem a little bit more simple than it really is, and not make you panic when you have a small issue. If you guys are interested in more tips like this, or just tips, tricks, and tours in general of the RV industry from a technician, make sure you press that subscribe button, and make sure you press that like button. Helps the algorithm, help me build my channel. I appreciate all the support I've had from you guys over the past year or so, going from TikTok over to here. I appreciate that.